AM, GM, BM, and welcome to the Onchain Media Podcast. I'm joined today by a very special guest. We have Chuck here, CTO and co-founder of Remix. And I have to say, I saw this man at a new day one on stage, just absolutely crushing it. And since I've seen him, it's just been absolute electricity in the community around what he's building, around Remix. And I'm just so excited to get, to have you on the podcast today. So Chuck, welcome and super happy you're joining us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's just been really exciting, especially like the new day one stuff was wild, which I'm sure we can talk about. But
we'll get into all of it.
A crazy day. But yeah, thanks so much for having me. And it's been, I'm really, really excited to talk about everything.
100%. So I guess I'll start with, just kind of if we can go into your story, what got you into the space. I'd really like to learn more about you and how you got here before we dive into the project.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's an unconventional story like many.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like, oh, it's a unique, cool story, but I think almost everybody has them. So
yeah, if we all wait, that's actually if we all have an unconventional journey into crypto, wow, that's actually interesting.
Yeah, it's like a line from I always think about it, I just watched this movie, but from The Incredibles, where like the little kids like, everyone's special, and it's like, well, that's a way of saying no one is.
If ever, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that the one thing that's very normal is how unnormal it is. I went to finance and accounting for college, and then a few years after, I just really wanted to be in tech, and I really was like, felt like that's where my heart was to be a software and like write code. And so in 2015, I went back to code school, and at code school, they just happened to go to school with a bunch of kids who were super into Bitcoin, and I didn't really get it. I was like, I don't know why this computer stuff would just be worth anything. And they convinced me to spend what very little savings I had left that was meant to be for lunches and my rent, I bought Bitcoin with. And that night, the exchange got hacked, and I lost all my Bitcoin, which, the upside was only, a couple $1,000s at the time, but the downside was that was all the money I had. And so it was a trial by fire into crypto. And so I really was like, this is the stupidest thing ever. No one's ever going to do this. And then about 3 or 4 months later, I went to an Ethereum meetup. And when I learned about smart contracts, I think especially with my accounting background and this idea of programmable money, I was hooked. I was like, this makes sense to me. Like, this is so much utility on the internet could be built around like programmable money. So yeah, I've been hooked on Ethereum. Basically, like, I remember I went home with my roommate that night. We built a trading card marketplace for Pokemon, and this was like 2016. Like that night.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so we were hooked, and like that was like crazy how like hard everything was back then. Nothing worked. Nothing made sense. And then,
so you have almost a decade under your belt. You built a Pokemon on-chain game in 2026. That's before anyone was doing anything like that.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, it just was like, Wild West. Like no one knew what we were doing. We were all just like toying around, playing with stuff. Like everything was a hackathon project. Everything was just, you weren't really building real things. You were just testing out the technology. And then, but since that moment, I was like truly bit by like the blockchain bug, and I was like, I have to find ways to work in this space. And so I just basically, it was early enough that it was super hard to find jobs full time in crypto. Like you basically had to go work for an exchange if you wanted to work in crypto at that time. And so I basically hung around Denver, and I ended up figuring out a company called Shapeshift was in Denver, and they were actually so they were pretty private about where the location of the office was for security, but I found out they were there, and I ended up getting a job there and built a product called CoinCap, which was like the number 2 pricing service behind CoinMarketCap. It was actually like the top cryptocurrency app on like the Google Play Store for a long time. So kind of got the next wind of crypto through exchanges and trading, and that actually like really defined like my love for like the money aspect of it. I think the Ethereum utility was really exciting, but then the longer I worked at exchanges, the more I got excited by like Bitcoin being better money, and like this was like really going to be disruptive to the financial markets and financial systems.
Totally. By the way, I don't know if you know Willy Wonka or Fox. I think Fox is another person. I have like an old Discord chat from like 2022 with those guys. Like it's been a minute.
Willie, he's got a lot of usernames. Willie Go. I'm really good friends with Willie. I was just talking to him the other day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he has a. He's really funny if you ever work with him, or if you ever see him, the first thing he'll ever say to you is like, "Hey Willie, how's it going?" And he will always respond, "Best day ever," no matter what. He'll
Wow.
always say it. So yeah, Willie's awesome.
Maybe I'll reactivate this 2022 Discord chat.
He should. He's working on some cool projects now. Yeah, so I did that, and then my brother, who also went to code school, we had this like dream of like working in gaming, and so we wanted to build like our first like crypto gaming company. So we built our first one in 2020. We did that for about, or sorry, 2021. We did that for about 3 years. We are actually pretty early to like the questing, like questing points meta, but we actually had a
Hmm.
lot of traction in Web 2 where we had a lot of traction in like random games like chess and Diablo 2 and like other games just like through streamers. But it was kind of weird because we grew a lot, and then all of a sudden Web 2 hated crypto. Like they really turned on
Yeah.
crypto with NFTs, whatever, all the rugs and scams and stuff. And so we actually became like this we felt like we were actually like held hostage by like our first cohort of users where it's like we could never really evolve the product into like this crypto product that we wanted because they all like threatened to leave the platform, and then we were like, and then the space just got super competitive. And so we ended up shutting down that company at the start of last year. And on the heels of that, we were thinking about what we wanted to do next, which led to our discovery of Farcaster and frames, like the original frames. And so Bobby and I were like, this feels a lot like Zynga and Farmville, and like building games on top of an open social network
Yeah, now we
felt,
got Farville too.
yeah, it felt huge. Yeah, we got Farmville now. But so we launched this project called Far World, which was like a Pokemon creature collection game. And we sold out like our first 3 packs like overnight. I think that we ended up making like a couple hundred grand or 300 grand in pack sales like our first 2 weeks of existence.
Wow.
It was just this like moment for us where we really felt like there was something very special being built there. And so we basically launched Far World, and we're still running that project today. Remix is taking the majority of our focus at the moment because it's been growing so much. But when we launched Far World, the other big idea we had was this idea called the Farcade, which has now been rebranded to
Yeah.
Remix. But the idea was like this open arcade gaming platform built on top of like social networks, and so tapping into Farcaster, World, now like the base app, and so we really started work on that project. And the one thing that really changed everything was just this tailwind behind AI and this like discovery of almost by accident when we were just trying to use AI to help us build more games for this arcade, the Farcade. We were like, we need more games to launch with, and so let's use AI to help build these games. And through that process, we discovered that anyone was going to be able to build these games very soon. We were like, AI is getting so good that anyone is going to be able to prompt a game to life. And we just had this belief that that was going to be all of mobile gaming. And so it's been about 6 months since we've launched, and we've grown to,
Only 6 months. Wait, only 6 months? Really? That's wild. I mean,
yeah,
what you've been able to do in that time, you have a significant following on, on socials. Like you got, that just kind of, sorry, it blows my mind. It's a reminder, you guys, that anyone can step up and do anything. This space is permissionless. If you put the work in, if you grind and you build something innovative that people actually want to use, you can go very far very quickly. That's really impressive.
super true. And I think we're testaments of that. Like we spent 3 years building a product that like didn't really grow to the way that we wanted. Then when we shut down and launched Far World, like we had more traction and success in like those first 2 weeks than we did in, like the prior 3 years. Like things can change that fast.
That's when when you have that lightning in a bottle. Like I kind of felt that with on-chain media, man. Like I was working a job for a while, building up my brand as a creator. Then I got to that point where it's like you kind of have a line out the door of people who are interested and want to work with you. And it's like, okay, I think I need to quit my job and do this full time. So that's what I did. And like, thank God for the base community because I have been able to become a full time creator now in
Amazing.
this ecosystem, which is like, just crazy. And Gary Vee was saying, at a new day one, he said, creators are absolutely spoiled nowadays. He's like, back in my day, like it was so grindy. We didn't have all the same tools. And he's right. I feel like right now, if you want to create, it is absolutely the best time. So anyway, sorry, that's for my tangent, but yeah, it's I think a really good time for creators too.
Yeah, congrats. Like it's super hard, and to get to where you are now, that's a lot of things that have to happen behind the scenes. I think
A
it's
100%. And it is like I even mentioned you like last night, I'm CEO, founder. I'm getting to a point where I got to start scaling myself. It's good problems though, you know what I mean? I have a lot in my pipeline. So yeah, and very good place for on-chain media. And I do want to talk to you more about your decision to hone in on Farcaster. I mean, before we came on here, we were talking a little bit about mini apps. So, can you kind of paint the picture of why you've chosen to focus on Farcaster?
yeah. The one of the very first reasons was from like a very philosophical belief of just like decentralized social. Like it's a belief that I've had for a long time in crypto, and I've just always wanted to support this idea of like no one really owns the content. The content is like a shared protocol, and we basically just interact through it through interfaces, and the true owners are the creators themselves. And it just feels like a better future of social media. Like it just feels like that's where it should be and that's where it should go. And so I spent a lot of time supporting anyone building those types of projects. Unfortunately, launching a social network is extremely difficult. It's very hard to get users.
You don't say. Yeah. I
And
mean, yeah.
yeah, I was been on top of Lens. I was been on top of like an old one called BitClout, which was like DeSo.
Forgot
And so
about Lens. Oh my God, Lens.
yeah, so I just really loved trying to support that. So that was like kind of like the made me feel good. Like I like supporting this like cool narrative that I enjoy. The next part was when they started building frames and some of this other like new primitives on top of the social graphs. I had a lot more belief that like this team had the best chance to make it happen. And so Farcaster really felt like it was hitting this tipping point of like I don't want to say escape velocity because they have tons of room to grow, but like a sustainable floor. Like they were getting to a point where like there was potentially going to be enough interesting content on this platform that like it was going to stay there. It was going to be around a while and continue to grow. And so when you're starting a company, distribution and eyeballs is everything, and
100%.
trying to find those first users is like those first 1,000 users are orders of magnitude harder than the next 10,000 or the next 100,000 even. Like getting that first 1,000 is incredibly challenging. And we felt like Farcaster was going to be the best way to like shrink the world down, like find a niche of like great community and build something viral with frames and like use those as like a way to get this initial cohort of users. And so that was like a lot of the big reasons why we started there. And then we've stayed because we just love the team, we love the platform, we love the protocol, we love the people there. I've like made like very genuine friendships through Farcaster, through other builders and like other people there. And it's such a supportive community, which is
It totally is. It's a breath of fresh air when you go from like, not to say this is the entire experience on X, but you do often see a lot of rage baiting, rage farming, just like negative content being very much amplified. And you go on Farcaster and it's like people saying, "Hey, how can we support each other? How can we have a genuine conversation and connection and support you?" I have noticed that it really is a breath of fresh air on Farcaster, just an overall positive and supportive community. It's like, oh my God, we so need that on the internet these days.
yeah, I know. It's funny because like one of the first like projects when we were doing Far World, like one of the most negative interactions I had was someone who like bought into our project because he saw it on X and like not from Farcaster, and he was like the squeakiest wheel of all time. Like he would be like, "You're rugging us. You're not doing this. I haven't 10x'd in a day." Like it's just like
Oh no.
all this stuff where I was like, "Oh man, the one guy from Twitter is now like our worst user." Like this is I've really enjoyed working on Farcaster, and I think hopefully we're like a testament to what can happen if you are successful there. Like we've grown so fast and have done so well there that like now we're outgrowing it, which I think is a very good thing for us and it's a very good thing for them.
Definitely got good problems. And man, I feel like you could really like, I don't know, write a book on, starting a company, doing this in 6 months and getting to the point you're at. That's just really impressive. And I mean, I would love to learn from you more and like just, continue supporting what you guys are doing. And I'm curious, what are kind of the main happenings right now going on with Remix and, anything on your roadmap you want to talk about?
Yeah. The main things that we're working on right now is like literally as of like today and last week, we announced a really cool game jam with OpenSea. And so game jams have been very popular on Remix. And a little context behind them is the gamers are also the creators on Remix. All the games are built by the users by vibe coding and using AI to generate these games. And so one thing that we've done, and one thing that we were really inspired by about 8 months ago when we were first coming up with some of the ideas of Remix, was gaming really being this next generation of interactive media where, first it was text, then images, then videos. And we really think games is like the next one up, especially with how fast you're going to be able to make them. And so we had this idea of like, wouldn't it be so cool if we could partner with brands and IPs and NFT communities where instead of just like paying for, 10 grand for a single TikTok, like what if you paid 10 grand and you got like 100 mini games that were all like using your IP and using your brand, and like the community could get built around that. And so we've done, I think this is our fifth one now. We did one with Doodles, with Nouns, now with OpenSea. We actually have a couple very big ones coming up. Unfortunately, I cannot share yet.
No worries.
But those have been awesome. So we have a game jam going right now, and that's been really cool.
That's awesome. So I'm curious, okay, for someone like myself who's just learning and wants to get more involved, where can people start who are watching and listening to this? How can they find you? How can they play the games?
So definitely going to like remix.gg is like a good starting point to see the game, see what we're doing. That's a good place where you can actually start prompting and building your first game. We're releasing updates to that constantly, trying to make it better. The Discord is actually awesome. We've really made our Discord focused. It's very builder centric. We actually have like, the FAQs in there that like, it's not like a GM server. You can't say like WinTG. You can't say like any of this stuff. It's like all this is about is like builders and people trying to help each other become better builders. And so if you're really excited about it and you've done this, like joining our Discord is like the next step up. It's kind of cool because you can actually like tap on any of those games and like try playing them because they're all instantly.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna try Nightmare
Blocks.
Extremely
hard. So
oh no.
Start with Tower Blocks first.
Okay.
So click on Tower Blocks first and try.
All right, this might be okay. I was gonna say first time we've played a game on. This is the second game I've played on a podcast. So
okay.
All right, let's go ahead and start. Are you able to see it? Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
Let me see if I can zoom. There we go. I'll zoom in.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, cool. All right, let's start. Oh, I know this one.
Yeah, so this is a really classic one that was just built. The cool thing about this one was built by AI in like 5 or 6 prompts.
It was built in 5 or 6 months, you said?
No, 5 or 6 prompts.
Oh.
So this was built.
So like more like 5 or 6 minutes. It sounds like
this was built in about 45 minutes with no coding. And so but that one's like an open source game. So you've probably seen that one a lot. But I love this story, so I'll if you start playing this, I'll kind of run the background. Sometimes it takes a second for the assets to load, but they'll pop in here in a second.
Okay.
But GeoCrush was basically, so this is like a match 3 game. And so you can see in the top, it says you're trying to collect stars and you have 10 moves to collect up to 10 stars.
Okay.
And so what you can do is you can actually look at the star and you're going to click and drag them and you try to make rows of 3 or more.
Got it. Okay.
So if you make like a row of 3 stars, you'll end up, connecting.
When they can connect in multiple ways. It's not just a straight line, but not diagonal. Okay.
Exactly. So again, a really fun game that's extremely addicted. So the story was in December when we were about to launch the Farcade, we went home for the holidays, my brother and I, and we basically showed our family the Farcade, and we wanted to see if they'd like it. And while we were doing that, we showed it to my older sister, and we had found out at this time, I didn't even know she played mobile games, but she's basically been playing Candy Crush nonstop for about a decade.
That's wild. So wow.
The cool part is we showed it to my sister, and she's like, "Oh, the Farcade's awesome. We only had the 4 games." And she's like, "Do you have a Candy Crush style game?" And we're like, "No, we don't, but we think the AI studio could build that game pretty quickly." And so over the next 4.5 hours, we sat down with our older sister and taught her how to prompt AI, and she built this game. She built this game.
Wait, so your sister made this?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, shout out to your sister. What's your sister's name?
Haley.
Haley, if you ever watch this, shout out to you, Haley. This is pretty addictive.
Yeah, and so yes, we built this, and so from 4.5 hours we built this, and then we launched it, and within 5.5 hours it had been played, over 10,000 times by thousands of people,
Wow.
and so it was just this like really unbelievable moment that we went from like an idea to like a game with thousands of players in 5 hours, and you can actually see on the remix page it's been played almost 2 million times now. So like
So wait,
it's
where is that?
if you scroll down to
Like,
geocaching,
oh,
yeah, you can see it's been played almost 2 million
wow.
times.
And that is the high, that looks like the one that's been
It's
played the most
Yeah,
here.
it's the most popular game.
That is so cool. Shout out. Sometimes it takes someone who's not like in our bubble, like an outside perspective, to just come up with a brilliant idea like that. Like that is
Yeah,
so cool.
and I think it's yeah. Again, I think this is like I think we're in like the copy paste like iteration of the internet right now, where I think people are like just are learning to vibe because this one's a lot easier on a phone. Like a lot of these are just
Okay.
sometimes better on a
I'll
phone.
have to try some of
Yeah,
these out on my phone
yeah,
next,
definitely try
but
some more.
really cool.
But I think we're in this spot where we have a lot of people who are just learning to vibe code. So a lot of times they'll take like a Flappy Bird or a Minesweeper and try to add like a little bit of flavor to it.
Mm-hmm.
But we just think like these games are already really, really cool. And this is the worst AI will ever be. Like it's only
Isn't that
getting
incredible? Like
so
it's
much.
only
Yeah.
going to go up from here. I saw a game go viral. I'm sure you saw that viral video of the couple at the Coldplay. Well, not a couple,
Yeah.
but the people at the Coldplay concert. We
Yeah.
all know the story. This guy like vibe coded. If you know the Song a Day guy, he vibe coded and made a game, and it went viral, and it was like all over TikTok and being like featured in the press. So it really is kind of wild how we can kind of meme our way and vibe code our way to like virality in the space right now.
Yeah. And I think we're just gonna see more and more of that.
100%. And is there any other things like you can do on here? So you can prompt here as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. So I'll you can do that. I'd say like it's not always like the sexiest best demo because sometimes it takes a while for it to
Yeah,
build a
yeah.
game
We'll
and
we'll
all that
hold
stuff.
off
But
for another time. But now
yeah,
you know if you're watching or listening where to go. If you're listening to the podcast, you can go to remix.gg. You can vibe code your very own game and play a lot of incredible games that are on there, which is what we were just doing. So yeah. I am curious. Like I noticed, obviously you've prioritized going to IRL events, going to a new day one. And you said you're based in Denver. You've been to East Denver before on a previous conversation. So why have you chosen to prioritize like showing up in the community, going to in-person events like a new day one?
well, New Day One was very special. New Day One was actually about a year out from we got invited to go to base camp last summer,
Nice.
and when we were there, I remember my brother and I were sitting in the stands and they did a big presentation on like the base names and a bunch of stuff they were unveiling. And then they had a handful of projects come up on stage to present. I just looked over at my brother and I was like, next year, like I want to be on that stage. Like I want us to be on that stage. And so that was like this idea that I just really wanted us to be, one of the top projects on base. Um, and so it's just crazy that a year later they ended up doing a new day one, and we got invited to speak at that, which was just such a
Incredible.
such a wild event. I feel it's like feels so surreal
Almost
that
like a pinch me moment. Like, hey, hi, Brian Armstrong. What's up?
yeah, and they like really undersold it. They when they asked if I wanted to speak, they made it sound like I was just going to like the Coinbase office and like talking to their team or like like they didn't make it seem like it was this huge event. And I remember
It
walking
was
into
highly produced. It was
oh yeah.
it blew me away because I've done a lot of events with Base, Coinbase. I've been invited to headquarters. I've done 2 events there and I've spoken there. But this event just like totally blew me away. Like you could tell they pulled out all the stops. This was like they invested a lot into marketing, the Erewhon juices, the highly curated speakers, including yourself. So Gary V, like that,
Yeah.
that just totally blew my mind, like the caliber of speakers and people they had there.
Yeah, when I first walked in, because we had to show up a day early to do rehearsals and like get all prepped, and I remember walking in and I walked in and I see the first floor and it's all the chairs and then the huge stage and
I bet it just
And
felt surreal.
yeah, and then like this production team runs up, they're like, "Hey, we got you upstairs in hair and makeup. We're gonna get the mic on." I just remember my like heart just was like in my throat. I was like, "Oh my god, like this is
This is real. It's really
way
happening.
bigger."
Hair and makeup.
Yeah, and so it was so cool. It was so cool to be a part of it, and I feel very lucky in it. But then like you get to go up on stage, and I just remember going and you look out, and then it's like down to my left, it's like Jesse, and then Brian Armstrong and Gary Vee and Chloe Abrams, and you're just like, oh god. And then it's
Yeah.
all the
Pit in your stomach. Like, wow,
yeah.
this is really, really happening.
But it was really cool. And then I think like the thing about in-person events, and the thing I've like always loved about crypto too, is it just like we spend so much time online, and I just think like it just like humanizes everybody again.
Right?
Like I think it's like just so nice to be like see good friends, see people that like I only get to have internet conversations with.
Put a face to the PFP. Like there are years I will talk to a person, I'll only know this little silly, cartoon character PFP. Then I actually meet them in person and like actually get to have like human interactions, not
Yeah.
behind a screen. And there's just something really refreshing about that. I think, like you said, we do spend a lot of time behind screens, and showing up in person, you just build, I don't know, stronger bonds and relationships with people, and you actually get to see them in person. And I can't quite put my finger on what exactly it is. It's just like a deeper form of connecting.
Well, and I think there's like a lot of serendipity and things that can like happen. It's just
100%.
not a lot of luck can happen when you're just by yourself in a basement. Like it's like like there's a lot of relationships are very fluid, and it's just like that happen chance where you bumped into each other, and then all of a sudden like our CMO Sam is. I just met him at a coffee meetup.
Shout out to Sam, by the way. Sam must be a genius just looking at your brand.
He's insane. Well, his backstory was him and his brother created the biggest dance YouTube channel in the world. Like they have like
What's
20
it called?
It's I think it might just be called like Matt Stefanina, but he's
Wait, I know Matt Stefanina.
yeah. So Sam Stefanina is his younger brother.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's wild. I used to watch those videos. I
Yeah.
lived in New York and I moved to LA, and I've watched Matt Stefanina's videos like since 2016, like
Yeah.
a very long time. I just find them very entertaining. I'm not the type, I don't come from a dance background. I just really love his videos. Like they're so good.
Well, he's gotten very good at like they're just very aesthetic. He's very good at making them like even if you don't like dance, he's very good at doing like the edits, and like he'll bring someone in off the street. Like he's so good at it. And
100%. I'm gonna look for one really quick. I think there's one like Lemon by Rihanna, and he really focuses on like hip hop dance.
Yeah.
Let's see. And another thing I like is it's like inclusive for all ages. And I don't know, this is just a channel I followed for a very long time. So shout out to the Stefaninas. Like I just think these are super cool. They're like he just understands how to teach people too.
Yeah. So that's like a lot of how it got like super big too. Is just like it was like the best like dance tutorials basically. So I remember Sam would always talk about like a new hit song would come out, and then they'd be up till in the studio till like 3 a.m. coming up with like a new dance for that thing. And so like all these dances would go viral that they just would like make up on the fly. The irony too is like with the TikTok world, like this stuff probably would be 5 to 10 times bigger if they did this in TikTok era.
100%. But I mean, he's still done incredibly well on YouTube, like, very, very high numbers and metrics on YouTube.
Yeah,
so
I think he's like, again, I think it's like 15 or 16 million on that platform. Sam was like one of the big editors and like people that helped market and grow that channel. But like the whole way I met him was just going to an in-person meetup, and then we became very good friends, and then now he's working with me, and it like spawned like a ton
isn't
of my
that
relationships.
wild
Yeah.
how the world works? Like I had a similar kind of scenario. Like I was part of a big layer one protocol many years ago. And I went to one of our meetups, and I ended up meeting this guy. Shout out to Ben Bartlett. And, a couple of years go by, we stay in touch. Like I got his number, we got our contact information exchange. Then I see we're on, we're both speakers for NFT San Francisco. And I'm like, dope. All right, let me hit him up. Let me say hello. And we ended up scheduling plans to have lunch together. the conference gets canceled, right? But I knew we had these plans. I was in SoCal. I had to drive up to the Bay Area. And he goes, Rachel, by the way, I'm now vice mayor of Berkeley and, started doing work in politics and doing stuff in the government. And I'm like, all right, this is someone who's in the government, who's pro crypto. Like, this is definitely someone I want to make sure I foster a really good relationship with. So I go up, I have lunch, and this is just all from a connection I made at a meetup. Then that day with my partner, we go and look at apartments, and I got offered a position to work for the city of Berkeley, working as a legislative aide for the vice mayor. I ended up running 2 campaigns. Like, it's wild how just like one interaction can have like a butterfly effect and completely change your life. So anyway,
it's really cool. And again, it does feel very butterfly effect when like that happens. You're like, wow, we just like bumped shoulders at a coffee meetup, and now
I work for the government.
Yeah. It's really cool. So I think that's what's important, especially when like you're a small startup or a builder. Like, it's just connections and meeting people. Like, more than anything, people want to work with people they enjoy, and people
totally
like they want to work with people they like, and just meeting people in person. There's no real substitute for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have become really close with a lot of people, and so now it's just really fun. We don't really do a lot of activations anymore at these conferences. We'll probably do more later. A lot of times we'll do stuff because we've been invited, but I just get really excited to see people that I get to only see 2 to 3 times a year, almost always at these events. It's just really fun, and I just really enjoy it.
I think for me, a big one, like I said, has been ETH Denver. I mean, I really came up in the ETH Denver community. I worked for Opolis for 2 years.
Oh, nice.
The University of Ethereum, too. This was funded by Vitalik. I organized and curated all the workshops. If you look me up on YouTube, I'm very YouTubeable, and you can see all the different workshops. And yeah, all these opportunities actually, probably every single one came from my first starting point in crypto, which was I got invited to speak at ETH Denver, I want to say 2022, 2021, and spoke about DAOs and had an interview lined up. And like, going to that event allowed me to leave my Web 2 9-to-5 job and jump completely into the abyss of the crypto space. Like, the starting point for me really was an in-person event. Anyway, I could talk about this stuff all day because I love people. I love connecting with people. So I think that's an important part of being in this space, having a human-centric approach to building, right? In the age of AI and tech, it's like we got to put people first and take care of each other,
Well, you're in a good job for it. I think you get to meet a lot of people doing what you do.
I feel like so lucky that I get to do this all day. So yeah, I mean, listen, I know you have a busy schedule. So if you want to kind of put a bow on this and maybe share just recap where folks can find you, where people can get started, any, alpha you want to sprinkle, like I won't be mad.
Okay. Let me think about the alpha that I'm willing.
Yeah, you can take if you want. We can cut this part out. If you don't want to share alpha, we can cut that out.
No, I'm gonna tease stuff. It's gonna be a little vague, but I'll tease some stuff.
All right.
So, to put a bow on like me and where to keep up with us, like we're huge on Twitter for socials. So like Remix GG_, which is the world's worst handle, unfortunately. But that's yeah.
Can you say it one more time?
It's Remix GG, which is a underscore. Which sucks. Like, we're trying to get a better one, but it's impossible. So we're on Twitter, but remix.gg will have all the links as well. So check out our website. We're very public. Like, we share a lot of what we're doing. We have a lot of really cool stuff on the roadmap, which I know everybody likes to say, but I really think what we're doing is pretty insane. And so a couple things that are really exciting. We just launched our first cohort for builders to learn to vibe code. So if you ever want to learn to vibe code or build games, like, I'm convinced Remix is the best place in the world to do that. We're as far as I know, we're the biggest vibe coding gaming platform in the world when it comes to players and games. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to do it, like, we're I think in a great place to start. We have a mobile app coming, which I'm really excited about. That's been something that we felt is becoming more pressing of a need for what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple partnerships coming up with some of the biggest brands and most recognizable names, like I think in the world. And I think that's very, very exciting. And if you're a builder or someone wanting to be a part of what we're doing, I think there's never been a better time than right now. So we have
100%.
some really exciting partnerships coming up.
Well, I appreciate the alpha tease there. And for all of you watching, listening, tuning into the Onchain Media podcast, please give Chuck a follow. Check out Remix. Go to remix.gg if you guys want to try this out, if you want to try your hand at vibe coding or playing one of their incredible games. And then also, where can folks join this cohort, this vibe coding cohort?
So this cohort is full, but we're gonna do them more. And so that's why then they're going to be pretty limited because we really want this to be a pretty exclusive thing with people who are very interested in doing it. And we want everyone who launches games or comes out of our cohort to have basically a revenue generating game that hopefully is like either gets them to their next game or gets them out of their job and now they're a game creator. That's like really our goal, is like we want people to quit their jobs and just make fun games all day. And so so coming to our Discord and starting building games is the best way to get into the next cohort, which I think is going to be I think that's going to be like one of the best ways to become a game creator.
Awesome. It just really feels like we're in an age where a lot of barriers are being reduced. If you want to go out and create something and build something, like there has never been a better time. So definitely take advantage of the tools at your disposal. Check out Remix. If you're someone who's into gaming, I mean, I come from a household of all boys, man. So like we grew up gaming in the trenches. Like, I have 4 brothers. I'm the only girl. So, grew up in a gamer household, and I feel like, I definitely got to show my family this. Like they're totally gonna lose their minds over this.
Yeah, my mom's on a 200-day streak. She's been playing every day, which is awesome.
Wait, so are there? I'm curious too. Like being an on-chain vibe coding gaming project, do you have incentives for users? Like, is there rewards, badges, tokens?
Yeah, so we have tons of just like traditional rewards, like badges, leveling, experience points, all of that stuff. Achievements are really popular on our platform. We are like pre-TGE, so like there is points, there is farming there. We admittedly like we'll never really talk about the TGE very much until like that stuff is more where we want it to be. So that stuff will definitely be kind of a surprise when it happens, but
okay.
That is like a part of our product, is we are like pre-TG, and so that is an incentive for you to be there.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time today, Chuck. I mean, you're just absolutely crushing it, man. And just happy to be along for the ride and to support you at any capacity. So thank you for the work you do.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This was really fun.
100%. All right. Well, for those of you tuning in, thank you so much. And we'll see you on the next episode. We'll see you on Chain too.